Patron, take them away.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go to market on Aussie US for Jack. It's just showing signs now. Let me just pull this into shot, drop it onto 5 minutes so you can see what it is that I'm looking at. It's just hit the trigger and we're about to go to market now. I should have actually entered here, but I only want a small amount of pips on it. So I'm going to drop in the order as we speak. Boom. Okay. Right, so there's the order. I want it to set back, pick it up, and then away. We're targeting into this red zone here. Okay. So it's not a massive target, it's just here. It's like a kind of a scalpy trade, if you like. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place some orders all the way back down into this zone here. This will build up the position and then get extra pips. So it looks terrible because you're thinking, oh, bloody hell. But this is a scalping trade. Let me explain why it's a scalping trade. When I did the assessment, it's kind of selling on the bigger picture, but there is sort of no trend at the top and it could have gone either way on the low time frames. So by definition, you have to scalp this thing. It's looking for a low TP, it's risky, it's C, and your target's around 6 pips. Well, I want to build up into 6 pips. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I said I would, or more at the point. We were discussing it in the market call. So if we just pull that down here. Market call is this. Is it the 11th? Oh, bloody hell, it's the 11th today. Where's he at? Oh, hold on. We're having a wee chat. There he is, right? I'll put this, I'm going to make him famous, right? Little kid. There he is there. I hate him because he's a good looking kid. But we're a happy bunch, okay? And we all work together. And in that, we were discussing stock placement, how to control the trade, all of that sort of thing. It's mindset day. So what I did is I followed it up by breaking the whole thing down for him, which is here. So going through how to read the chart, etc., etc., etc. Then from there, I backed it up by putting in that sheet that you just said. And now I'm going to trade it because within that video, I explained exactly the direction that I would take if I was going to scalp it, which was to the buy, because that was based on what's called an anchor chart. Now, if I pull this out, I'll show you what an anchor chart is. That's an anchor chart. An anchor chart is where you get your ideas from. Now, with this, because of that colossal drop yesterday, there are 3 elements to a move. If you're using fib retracement, which is essentially what I'm looking at, you have the initial drop, the consolidation, and then you have the move. So it's drop, compression, move. Now the move can go either way. As you've just seen, the dominant direction is to the sell side, which isn't out of the ordinary because of this. But that's based on high time frames, it's your dailies, things like that. So there's still a lot of downward pressure. So if I drop this into 4 hours, well, what we can see is it's gone up. Yes, that's collapsed, but actually down here is where it could possibly get to. So that pressure is still down. So what I have to do is look for the quick snap. Thank you. Making it an upward buy. Now, because I'm just going to build into this, I'm going to start putting some staged orders in. So tip my toe on the market and I'm going to stage it into here and then stops in and around underneath these swing points here, which isn't that far away. Okay, so let me just run the trade and I'll come back to you when it's finished. Okay, Jack, that was kind of for you, kid. I hope it kind of made sense backing up what we were talking about in the meeting. And what's essentially happened, if I just quickly flick this over properly, just sort out. We had the surge up here, kaboom. We analysed it, we watched it come into this area, and the idea was for it to return. Oops, sorry. Help if I switch the screen on, boys and girls. I've just been having a shower and freshening up a little bit. One of the beauties of setting and forgetting and putting your orders in and one thing and another, you can go off and do other things. Which I will be in about half an hour, where I'll be having a meeting doing a one-to-one. And it's like everything else. You get out of it what you put into it. So, what we have is we watched it pull back into this area, which is where we wanted. We saw the break, which is here, you know, so came down, tap, break, candle above. And if you're doing sort of a candle count at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see the main cluster here where it braked across, and that was kind of the entry point, if you like, or what we were sort of looking at. So you're looking to see it push through, which is what we essentially were after, and then you look at the secondary candles to tear in, get my teeth back in, to get in and then manage the trade. Okay, but the area of interest was actually here, but we got in a little bit higher. So run it up, stage backwards so that you reduce your exposure but increase your upside, help you switch trades on and off, triggered in, killed off the top one, kept the other one, then saw it starting to come back on itself, took the bulk of the trade out, pulled the stop in. You couldn't do anything. It was either going to run into target or cash out. Either way I was good, so I disappeared off. And then there you go. You know, that gives you your results. Now, it was a scalping trade, so this bit doesn't matter. And I want to stress that. We had a chat today about mindset, and one of the biggest issues is chasing the money. And I'm one of the few in this space that'll tell you if that's what you're doing, quit. I get messages all the time, some good, some bad, and it's all around the same subject. I need to make money. I need to do this. Then you need to go work in McDonald's because you're not going to make it. This is a job, plain and simple. If you can't do the job and you think it's an easy job, you've already failed. You've failed before you've even started. And that's why you'll always be spinning wheels, you'll always be poking fun, and you'll always be throwing mud. And it's got nothing to do with anybody but you. It's your own actions that you're throwing a paddy fit at. If you can't be asked to learn the craft, how on earth can you be paid from it? And that's why the meetings we had this morning is very important, because it's about the process. It's about how to manage yourself. It's your mindset. Think of it this way. If you've got all the tools in front of you, which you do Because if you come along to this squad, I don't own the squad. It's owned by YouTube. I moderate it. Every tool is there available for you. You've got a 50 module course that'll take you step by step. There's 3,000 videos on the channel with over 2,000 hours of education for you. So that in alone is telling you how much you need to take in. You know, it's a massive amount of information. X does not mark the spot. So you've got to do this. Now, if you haven't got a lot of money, you either trade a small account, you look on the channel, you'll see them getting built up, and they're built up from scratch. I'm going to go on the whiteboard sometime soon and talk about time management because I trade multiple accounts. You can use a prop firm if you've got small money and use it as training wheels. 5% as boot camp is ideal. It's very cheap to get in, but you have to learn the craft in order to pass. You earn the right to trade. If you're using a small account like BlackBull, which is what I recommend, and everything I talk about has a link below, and they're all things that I use personally. So it's not paid advertising or anything. It's just what I personally use. BlackBull will give you 500 to 1 leverage, so you can open up any product you like, but you still have to control your position size. So it's about what's between the old lug holes up here. Then once you've earned the right, you could look at an investment house like Darwin X, because that works with watermarks. It only pays you if you are moving up. You have to perform. If you can't perform, you're wasting your time. But if you can got the skill set, it's a good way to go. If you don't have the money, they do it for 38 quid a month, and they'll put the money in. So again, you've learned the skill. It only cost you 38 quid. So that's peanuts. All you're doing at the time is funneling into your own account and building that up. So if you use a prop, use a Darwin X, they are just vehicles to increase your own fund. But what's it all hinge on? Whether you can do this in the first place. And what I did there was an example of that, because it was a very hard trade. You can trade anytime you like, 24 hours a day. You can go to market and you can find a trade. And it comes down to whether or not you can target that trade correctly. You know, you try and swing at the fences and get 50 pips out of a trade that, in this case, was only going to give me 6 at best. You're already lost. So it's all about your planning and your management and how you would process it. And I was right to target where I did. I assure you. Targeted in and around this area. Why? Because that was the zone of attraction. From there to there. And where did it turn? Bang on the mark. Where did it enter and trigger? Bang on the mark. It's all in the planning, guys. Everything is in the planning. And ultimately, you have to do it. And if you can't do it, you can't point the finger at anybody else. Brutal hard fact. Some like it, some don't. I know they don't, because every video that gets out within seconds is downvoted. So it's somebody who doesn't even watch the video. They don't even watch the video. They just don't like the concept. Or they don't like me or whatever. It doesn't make any difference, because the algorithm doesn't make any difference between a dislike and a like. It boosts the channel forward anyway. So, but what it does show me is some people are just a bit daft. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you can't do it, learn it. And if you can't learn it, for the love of God, give up. That's the best advice I can give you guys. So as always, trade well, keep your risk managed, and above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.